Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to talk about that 5-1 defeat to Chelsea and what's going on at the club, because I don't think this is an isolated incident, and I'm sure a lot of you don't, and just talk about how we can fix it. I say we, I can't do anything. I certainly don't have the facilities to help West Ham in the transfer market, let alone as a football coach. I can't even walk. So, how are the people that can fix it can try? And before we get into the video, guys, if you could like, comment and subscribe, it really appreciate it. Your guys' support has been amazing since I've returned to YouTube. Seeing the views and the likes and that sort of stuff has meant a lot. But if you guys could click that subscribe button, if you go, sometimes you don't know if you subscribe, so just have a look down below. It's one click, it's absolutely free, and I really appreciate you joining me throughout this season. I've seen a lot of noise over Twitter that the squad's bad, Graham Potter needs to go, Sullivan needs to go. And we can't do all that. I'm going to give my thoughts on if it's time for Graham Potter to leave. And yeah, very quickly on the game though, it was awful, wasn't it? I don't really know what there is to say that other people haven't said, and I certainly don't want to go repeating videos that I've seen, because I have watched a lot of reviews, I'm not going to lie to you. And I think everyone's been spot on. I think everyone's been spot on in their ways of thinking and the anger and the annoyance. I think people saying it's the second game of the season and West Ham fans are already walking out. That to me speaks to the people that don't watch West Ham on a regular basis, which is fine. I don't watch any other team on a regular basis. If you were to tell me about the things going on at Fulham, I would have no idea, right? That's why when you do Premier League predictions, it's a bit silly, because you're always going to put your team potentially higher or lower if you're optimistic than other teams, because you just have more knowledge about them. So this isn't an isolated incident. This is a much bigger thing that's been bubbling under the surface for ages at West Ham. We're going back to David Moyes era here, and very quickly, because I've seen it, I've had friends message me, people saying, do you miss David Moyes? Have you made a mistake? No. Letting David Moyes go was not a mistake, and I'm a David Moyes fan. I genuinely, right, I was never asking for him to get the sack, because he did win us the trophy. Sacking him was not the answer. Him going mutually at the end of his contract, fine. But yeah, people saying to me, do you miss David? No, of course I don't miss David. Like, that was 2 years ago. But the issue is that we've not done anything to get better than David Moyes, and we should have done. We were in the position to. We had 3 years in Europe. We won a trophy. We haven't moved on. You look at our team now, right? How many of them were there when David Moyes was there? How many of them have impacted the squad, the new signings? How much investment have we put into Graham Potter as a manager? That is the issue. It's got nothing to do with Graham Potter as a tactician. My question to the answer is, should Graham Potter leave? No, he shouldn't leave, because what manager can come in and do something with this? No one. It's very rare that a group of Sky Sports pundits or any television pundits are spot on about West Ham, or any team, to be honest with you, unless it's their own team, because they don't watch West Ham week in, week out. They watch West Ham when they're asked to watch them, and they might catch it on Sky or TNT or what have you, right? But Rob Green and Jamie Redknapp were spot on about West Ham fully throughout the night, and that's not me, dissing Sky Sports punditry. I know it's not for everyone, but I'm not expecting them to know everything about the clubs that they're covering, because it's impossible. But they were bang on about everything last night, about the fact we need new recruitment, about the fact that we need, money put into the club, about the fact that our squad is terrible. And yes, I came into the season optimistic because I believed in Graham Potter, but this is ridiculous. And yes, Graham Potter does take some of the blame. I'm not saying that Graham Potter's blameless, the squad's blameless, it's all at the top, because that's not true. We played shit. It doesn't matter if, we lost 5-1, but we had a good performance. No, we were awful. And that's why fans are walking away, because I know people like to go, oh, you're a mid-table club, we're expecting, but overall, in the overall landscape of football, West Ham are a big club, and that's not me getting into the banter with other teams. It's just a fact, right? We've got a big following. People expect more. I'm not saying we expect the Premier League, because if we do, then we're silly, right? No team in theory should be expecting their team to win the Premier League, unless you're Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, that sort of vibe, right? Like, even Man United fans and Chelsea fans this season, maybe Chelsea are in the running, maybe, but to win the Premier League, your expectation is quite a high one, and I don't think we can do that. I don't think we're in the position to do that, but we can expect to be competent at football. And right now we're just not. And it comes down to the fact we haven't got the legs. Look at our bench. And when you look at the players that we got from injury coming back, and that is something that, I've seen some fans say, our injured list currently, Somerville, okay, great option. Luis Guilherme and George Earthy. And don't get me wrong, I expect both, of them to be brilliant players. But you cannot rest our season on Luis Guilherme and George Earthy from the bench. That's horrific. And maybe I was silly because when we replaced when we sold Mohamed Kudus, I was like, we don't need to replace him, we're fine. We do. And that's not me saying that Kudus was great last season, because he wasn't. But we need more attacking options. I'm not sold on Nicholas Füllkrug in the Premier League. I just thought Callum Wilson looked decent. It's never going to be normal for me to see Callum Wilson in West Ham United shirt. But I'm happy with the reception the fans gave him. Chelsea looked great. It's hard to say whether Chelsea looked great or we look crap. But that's not me because of the rivalry of Chelsea. It's just because we did the same thing against Sunderland. The only positive of the game is that Lucas Paqueta scored an absolute brilliant goal. 100%. His goal was fantastic. Like, that was a proper. I was like, yeah, come on, it's going to be one of those nights. They went 1-1 and I was like, oh. Then we scored again, it was offside, and I was like, oh. And it was just, oh. I was quite lucky that the wrestling was on at the same time, so I just turned the wrestling up and muted the TV and just was watching the wrestling. But yeah, it wasn't great. Overall, Chelsea, you can't take anything from them, I know, so you can't tell whether they were just great or West Ham were rubbish, but overall they got the job done, and in emphatic fashion. They were a great team, they did some really good stuff. We didn't have the ability to match them. The defence is shocking. The midfield, how we're still in a midfield pivot of James Ward-Prowse and Thomas Souček is ridiculous. I remember in the David Moyes run, when that was our midfield pivot. That was 2 years ago. I'm not saying the players can't stay around just for 2 years, but that wasn't good back then. If it was a pivot that worked 2 years ago, I wouldn't be annoyed that we're using it. It's the fact that we knew it didn't work 2 years ago, and we still decided to keep going with it, keep trying it. Why? Where's the logic? The back three are horrific. I was wrong. I'll hold my hands up. I was wrong. I thought they would be a great defence. They're not. None of them are. 35 million on Jean-Claude Todibo right now. We've had our pants pulled down. Hermansen, not the best start to the Premier League for him in his return, but I do think he'll come good. I think he'll make some mistakes. I'm excited to see Areola in that. I think on Tuesday's game against Wolves. So, flipping heck. Mavropanos, I'm sure, will come in for that game as well. Freddie Potts will start. We'll probably get a double pivot, Freddie Potts and Guido Rodriguez. Oh, Christ. Yeah, Bowen looked alright. Malik Diouf was great. He's probably already bright spot. Wan-Bissaka was poor. Cole Walker-Peters tried when he came on. Callum Wilson tried when he came on. But look at the players we're bringing on the pitch. They're not game changers. That's the issue. That's what Redknapp was really good at pointing out, right? Is that they are not... What we have on the bench will not change a game. There's no plan B. It's just stick to the same plan. And if the plan doesn't work, all you're doing is bringing on worse versions of the players you already have on the pitch. It is an investment issue. Sullivan, Brady, everyone at the top needs to get their pockets out. And if they don't want to, they shouldn't be in charge of a football team. Because they should see this. They should go, right, it's not good enough. And the issue is Graham Potter's not been bad. You could say, yes, they backed Lopetegui last summer. But all those players were scattergun because of the way we didn't want to back Tim Steidten, or we didn't want to back Lopetegui. So we had Sullivan, Lopetegui, and Tim Steidten getting different signings in, and it created this mishmash of a mess, to be honest with you. Just not a good team that moulded well. I think all of them together collectively are good players, and yes, I'm including Guido Rodriguez in that. But what the... I don't know whether I'm just feeling deflated. I don't know whether it's just pure anger and I'm overreacting. But just overall, it's not great. I'm really not pleased. And yeah, just overall, I think going forwards, my statement is that we need to back Graham Potter. Because I don't think there's better out there available than Graham Potter. And I know you could, buy a manager out of his contract, but West Ham don't do that. I'm not expecting us to do that, so therefore I don't think we will. So therefore I think we should stick with Graham Potter and just back him, give him a go. When Sky brings up that statistic or the sheet of all the signings and who's done what and for what value, and then you get we've let go of this player, we've let go of Kudus, and we've brought in 2 free transfers, Malik Diouf, Hermansen, and technically Jean-Claude Todibo, but that was agreed last summer. That's our business. We have sold. There's 2 strikers. We'll tell you, we've got 2 strikers in Antonio Ings. However effective they are, that's your decision. Cresol's gone. Can we replace him with Malik Diouf? Soufal's gone. Replaced him with Walker-Peters. Fabianski's gone. Replaced him with Hermansen. But overall, a lot of the players, those 2 striking options that we've replaced one of them with Callum Wilson. We got rid of Kudus. We're lacking 2 attacking players, and the midfield's rubbish. So not only do we give ourselves work to do by letting people go on frees, If you're not going to replace those players, why do we let them go? I'm not saying they shouldn't have gone either. They should have gone. That's good business. But we should be in the position to replace them. And if we're not, we shouldn't be replacing them. That's my big issue here. That is my major just disappointment and anger. And I don't understand it. I don't know what we're going to do from here. But yeah, guys, if you have enjoyed, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. And if you're a Chelsea fan, feel free to banter us in the comments. It's absolutely fine. I don't stress. So yeah, it's fine. I'll see you guys soon though. Take it easy and bye-bye.